Well, the EV sector is definitely critical to climate change and mitigation because it directly reduces greenhouse gas, what we call GHG emissions, for the whole transportation sector, which is obviously one of the largest contributors to global emissions. Now, by replacing combustion engines or ICE vehicles with EVs, we can significantly lower carbon dioxide, CO2 emissions. And we have scientific data to back this. This in result improves air quality and reduces reliance on fossil fuels. However, to be clear, for EVs to be truly sustainable, their production and the energy sources that are being used must also be green, meaning a shift to renewable energy and responsible battery material sourcing is necessary. Let's think about how can the political management of the EV sector be managed better, or political will. So we have regulations, we have also incentives. Governments should set clear emissions reduction targets and provide incentives such as what we have seen so far: tax credits, subsidies, and grants that are encouraging the citizens to an EV adoption. Now, stricter emission norms for ICE vehicles will also push the automakers toward EV production. And this is a global thing. So let's be very clear and aware of this. An issue: infrastructural development, public investments in the EV charging stations, and the grid modernization is essential to make the EVs more viable for consumers and so forth. Policies should also encourage both the urban and the rural expansion of charging networks, which is predominantly happening in Europe and Asia, and not so much in the Americas. Renewable energy integration. All right. EVs should be powered by clean energy sources like wind, solar, and hydroelectric power. So what does this mean? The governments must align energy policies with EV adoption so that they can ensure sustainable charging. Another issue that I'd like to talk about would be the battery supply chain and recycling. Well, that's a big one. Governments should regulate ethical sourcing of key materials. For example, we have lithium, cobalt, nickel, and support battery recycling programs to reduce environmental and also social risks in mining. From an international cooperation point of view, climate change, we cannot turn our faces away. It is a global issue. So cross-border collaboration on EV standards, supply chains, and trade policies can help scale up production and EV adoption. Now, what is the role of the private sector on this? For example, Soriano Motors Group, Soriano Motori. Innovation and R&D, research and development. Automakers and motorcycles makers are battery manufacturers that must invest in better battery efficiencies. So something that has longer life cycles and sustainable material to reduce EV costs and environmental impacts. How can you do also? You can do this by scaling production, right? Companies should focus on reducing the EV production cost through an automation supply chain optimization and localizing battery production to make EVs more affordable to the clients. Another one, and I think is super important one, would be the charging network expansion. Collaboration with governments and private firms is necessary in order to deploy widespread fast charging infrastructure, which is very crucial to transporting yourselves, your families, and so forth. So corporate fleet electrifications, businesses should transition their transportation fleets to electric vehicles, setting an example for mass adoption. And this is the case in some of the big companies that do courier or the transport goods and services. Circular economy approach. What does this mean? Automakers and motorcycle makers must develop strong battery recycling systems and second life applications, even a third life for used batteries to minimize the waste. Meaning, we take the battery back, we recondition it, we give it back to you, and you can use it for another 5 years. So, by combining strong political leadership with innovation and the commitment from the private sector like us, the whole EV industry can significantly contribute to fighting climate change while driving economic growth and job creation in the world. These are my 2 cents. If you have any questions, like you always do, like us, send me the questions, and I'll be happy to address this when I see you next. Thank you.